Hi everyone. Today we're looking at an interesting rifle that I bought online, and it was advertised as an Arisaka custom rifle. So Arisakas have always interested me. They're historical firearms, of course, and the cartridge I like, the 6.5 Arisakas, actually ballistically nothing magnificent, but it's a rimmed cartridge, and I just happen to like it. I was surprised by what arrived in the mail. So this was supposed to be like an Arisaka custom rifle, and somebody did an amazing amount of work on this rifle. The gun right here is an Arisaka carbine. It's missing some wood and things like that. But have a look at what all was done to this action. So somebody put on laminate stock, somebody welded on a new bolt handle, and even resurfaced where the weld mark is. They did some work on the action. It's smooth. The bore is excellent. This is one of those Arisakas that has the intact chrysanthemum. They call that the mum, and you'll see on this one the mum is ground off, and that was something that was done when these rifles were taken, because we won the war and they didn't want the sign of the chrysanthemum on the rifle, so they ground them off. And you probably have heard the expression ground mums. So anyway, this custom rifle was once again a very pleasant surprise. Somebody found an Arisaka, or maybe they had one already. Arguably it maybe could be a more modest looking stock. It's a little bit wide here and some kind of inlay, but it's all steel. And they went to the trouble of checkering the screws, which it's just remarkable, the lengths that they went to. And the floor plate releases. I can't, of course, describe the feeling of the stock because you have to handle the rifle, but it's good. It's not clunky. It's fairly light. I could lighten it even more by hollowing out the buttstock and making a deeper channel in the forend. Barrel's free floated. Action is glass bedded. They did some work on the trigger, and then of course they polished and re-blued the whole rifle. So it's a remarkable piece of work. And as a lot of people are aware, the Arisaka is one of the strongest, and some people tell me the strongest bolt action, for a variety of reasons. One of the things I wanted to draw to your attention was that the 6.5 Japanese cartridge is a rimmed cartridge, which isn't that common in bolt actions. The 303 British is rimmed, and I pulled out some cartridges here. So what have we got? This is a 308. That looks a little different from the 308 that you're used to seeing, because I reload them with round nose bullets, 150 grain Hornadies, I think, just for practice. And that's a 30-30. That's rimmed. And then we've got a 6.5 Creedmoor, and we've got the Nagant 7.62 by 54R, and that's a 303 British. And then here's a 30-06. So why all these cartridges? Well, I just wanted to show the advantage of a rimmed cartridge. So this is a barrel. Sometimes I just buy barrels. This is a Model 94 angle eject 30-30. So the 30-30, when you close your action, you can see that the cartridge is fully supported. Now that little groove that you see, that's where the extractor goes, because you have to get the cartridge out of there somehow after firing. But when the action is closed and the bolt face would be right here, it's completely supported, and in this case it just falls out. Anyhow, the Mauser actions, including the pre-64 Model 70, let's borrow this bolt. I'm going to take this out, and you all know how I like Mausers and anything based on a Mauser, but that's how they are. I'm going to try to set that down. That's how a bolt action sits. And so I don't have my usual pen, but this area here of the cartridge, when the bolt is locked, is completely unsupported. It's in the air, and it has to be, because there has to be room for this extractor. And in the Model 70, there's a further weakness. It's called a cone breach. That's why this is milled away. They wanted to make sure feeding was always reliable. So at the base of the chamber where the cartridge goes in, it's actually carved out, it's coned out. So the bullet nose hits the cone. It's like a funnel action, and it'll always feed. But the consequence is that you have unsupported case head, and that's true of the Mauser too, which is why I brought out Mauser. So how does that relate to the Arisaka? The Arisaka managed to be engineered in such a way that the rimmed cartridges feed, and these are completely reliable actions. You can see the dually opposed front locking lugs, and then once the action is closed, you'll see that the bolt handle itself further locks the action, because this is here. So even if these lugs sheared off somehow, and you can see they turn into place, and even if they sheared off, you've got this mechanism, and then you've got a kind of tiny safety lug on the underside. About the only thing I can say that's a little bit odd on the Arisaka is this safety, which is machined here, and you're supposed to be able to get like a friction kind of grip on this safety and then turn it, and then it's kind of locked. You can see I'm struggling with it even. Oh, there, I guess I got it. Yeah. So now that's bolt locked, and thank goodness. Yeah. And it won't fire. And then to take it off, you kind of push it in and release it. Oh yeah. So I guess you have to really push it in. But this is obviously not a fantastic thing. And I've seen people weld little wings here, so you can turn this kind of like the Swiss K31. But anyway, I wouldn't do that here. The main point of the video was that the Arisaka is an excellent action, and quite often people go to amazing lengths, and somebody did here and did a lot of work, which means it was kind of a labor of love. Perfectly fine hunting rifle, and I mean, a lot of people would say should have left the gun as it was, and that's maybe true, but there was no doubt a lot of satisfaction in building this thing. The trigger is excellent. Anyhow, so that's the custom Arisaka. This is, I think this may be one of those last ditch rifles. There are other websites that cover these more from a historical military perspective, and that's great. But it's got the stock, that's it's the laminated. You've seen Mausers like this, and of course they were trying to economize on everything. The action is still good, the bore is still excellent, and like I said, this is the carbine. Take a look at this butt plate. Like, it's just a piece of wood screwed on, and I have a hunch that's actually how they made them. It's missing some pieces. Arisaka put these supports into their stocks. You can see this one's still here. And what also makes me think this is one of those last ditch models, which means they were manufactured to the lowest standards but still were serviceable at the time, is I think this is sheet metal, and like it looks to me like they had cut all corners in making this gun, but I could be wrong. Maybe some of you know more. This is the later model, the 7.7 Japanese. So this was supposed to be an improvement to this action, and the cartridge is I think the same bore diameter or close to a 303 British, and there's a lot more sauce to the 7.7. And anyway, this wood came from this. I don't have a bowl for this. Anyhow, kind of a mixed bag of things, but maybe interesting. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time.